Hey, what's up, beautiful people? We're here for another one. Okay, so we've been talking about the fifth dimension. I'm gonna go deeper into the fifth dimension. Take it or leave it. This is not spiritual advice. I'm not trying to. It's not a cult or religion. I'm just giving y'all my perspective. So if it resonates, cool. If not, hey, all good. But we're gonna get into it, and this time we're gonna kind of go a little bit more into more detailed aspects. I really want to try to verbalize and articulate as best as I can what the fifth dimension feels like and how that shift feels like, that enlightenment aspect of it. Because for the most part, all you can, if you haven't experienced it, and I understand what it's like to not experience it before, you're kind of just lingering on people's words, right? And it's just like one video after another, and you're trying to find your way. And people are, and it's just words, and it's just like, man, okay, where is it? Like, what the hell? Like, all right. But your soul is here, right? Your soul is curious. Your soul is trying to figure this out. And you will get there. You will get there. We all get there. Whether we do it now or, later. But, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. Enough being coy. So, the fifth dimension, and I'm gonna try my best, but I'm also gonna kind of get into some things that may be controversial because like, oh, who is this guy? And why does he think he can talk so much about the fifth dimension? Like, all right, whatever, take it or leave it. Like I said before, let's keep going. Okay, fifth dimension. Your higher self, right? What I mentioned before, the supernatural place, super conscious, whatever you want to call it. There's a version of you, like I mentioned before, that's lived multiple lifetimes. Is you, which is you right now. The version of you right now is greater than the version of you when you're in elementary, right? Obviously, you know more about yourself. You can do things, right? Your version of you in elementary would be looking up to you right now, right? They'd be like, oh wow, they're cool, or whatever, or who's that, whatever. But you're still a greater aspect of what you were then, right? Still you, but improved, experienced, whatever. So as we are living through life in the third dimension, going one moment at a time, we can't experience both versions of us at the same time, right? Unless we use a hologram or something. Technology is kind of allowing us to do more of that kind of stuff. But that also is an aspect of the higher dimensions. Just because in this reality there's limitations and we don't fly and that doesn't mean that there are realities where that does not exist. And it's not to say that, oh, okay, I can just think and fly, but there are just aspects of reality. There's different laws, right? Just like being in the ocean, right? Technically, maybe you're flying, right? Because you're in the water, and if all you knew was being in the water, then you wouldn't even think about walking. You just float, whatever, right? So it's like that in the higher dimensions. There's certain aspects of it that still kind of exist here, but just in a different way. But let me get more to it. Let's get straight to it. So and I'm gonna not explain so much. I really just want to kind of talk about it rather than feeling like I have to explain. But I think I have a knack for like kind of being politically correct or trying to make sure I'm not confusing anyone or coming off in any sort of way, rather than just like trying to give y'all the best version that I can. So with that being said, I might just kind of get into it, and if y'all have questions, just ask me and I'll expand on it. So there's a version of you that's existed before, and it is you. It is your higher self. I don't know if it's the same, if you have the same name or whatever, but it's much mightier than you. It's much greater than you, and it is the true version of you. Right now, who we are is not the true version of us. Spoiler alert. But the cool thing is that it gets better. It gets far better. Just like when you're a kid and you grow up into an adult, right? You're having an awesome life. Although here on the third dimension, in the world, or human, earth world, whatever, a lot of times, people go through a lot of things where by the time they grow up, there's, they could be disenfranchised, they could be taken, their life could go in a whole different place than what they thought, a different trajectory, right? End up in prison or whatever. But as a kid, that little precious kid, that's not what they wanted to do. They didn't want to go to prison. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to kill anyone. Like these kids are innocent. These kids are sweet. That's the nature of the universe, right? These kids come into this world expecting things to be like how they were up there. You know what I mean? Like straight up. But it's a humbling experience. Like you come back down to like zero, right? It's like prestiging in Call of Duty. You come back down to zero and you have to start over, right? But the crazy thing is like you have all this power that you just forget. But when you're a baby, it's just like it's like one of those like spells that they do in like a little kids movie or something where they turn like somebody into a frog or a donkey or something. It's kind of like that, right? Like you're this whole mighty like and then you get turned into a little but you just have to learn to do it again. But the cool thing is that you're not actually doing it again. It's not like your whole thing got deleted. It's like you're literally just making a new man. It's like you're playing video games and you got multiple men or characters or women or whatever in different lifetimes. That's literally what's going on. Me right now, I am one version of me, and there are other versions of me walking around on this planet and on other planets, other realms, but also in like 3-dimensional realms, right? So they're all like look like humans. They all are different types of people and walk around and do other things, and they might be interested in other things. But I understand that I am literally like, those are like my cousins, but they're me. They're like my soul cousins, or like we're all connected, and we all have a higher self, and we share the same higher self, which looks like me. I don't know what they all look like, but I know we all probably look like the same thing. And if we're in different realms, I'm sure they all look like me. And not me, but me as my higher self. Me, because I look like my higher self, but mixed with all the influences and everything from here. But my higher self, like I mentioned before, it's literally me, but a full white beard, not this patchy scruffy stuff, whatever. Like it's literally a full beard from like here all the way. And honestly, I can start to see it come in, and I already seen it ahead of time. It's just taking a while for it to all grow in. And before, when I first saw it, I didn't even have a beard growing in. Like I didn't even have none of it. And I can, it's barely a beard, but it was way less than this before I had my little enlightenment. And when I saw myself, I was like, really, a beard? That's crazy. But I see it coming in. Anyways, but we got a long ways to go. I say that to say that a lot of things take away your power. A lot of things take away your power. Your fifth dimensional self is your super self. There's a version of you that exists beyond here. And when you come back to it, it's like, it's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's like, there's this level of like, and it's bigger than me. Like even me, when I'm going like right now, it's way bigger than any sort of energy I can output. Way bigger. And it's me though. And it's so cool to see myself and to experience myself that powerful. And my voice sounds way different than right now. It sounds like multiple voices together. It's like, yo, even deeper than that, more resonant, like a lion. When you hear a lion, they're like, you can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like some tigers, their roars can paralyze their prey, especially smaller prey. Just the sound waves that they emit, the low resonance. So there's a version of you. I'm telling y'all, I'm taking it or leave it, whatever. But there's a version of you that is like super is the word I'm using because I'm a human and I have to figure out some words. But it's like gigantuan. It's like not gigantuan because now we're gonna think about like physical size, but greatness. There's like greatness, right? If you're to think about like God compared to a man, right? There's a level of greatness. Like what would you call it? Like God is gigantuan or God is superhuman? Like yes, he is, but you know what I mean? Like there's a version of, it's very much like a Godhead, right? Like you have a God self, you have a higher self. Before we have a God that's way above us, even beyond that version. But we have a version of us that is our God, closer to us, connected with God. Like our personality, like our unique essence, but not limited by here. There's a version of us that is like magnified a lot more. And us, once you can experience that version of yourself, you come back here and you're like, oh, like I'm trying to be like my daddy. I mean, but it's me, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like me because I got to see my greatest self, and I got to see more so of what I'm doing here. And when I was looking at myself here, when I was looking at the realm that I'm a part of, it's your soul is a perfect circle. Your soul is represented as a circle, right? There's no beginning, there's no end. It is a perfect shape, and it can